Now we're going to do a vision quest. The reason that this is so important is because it's neat to see what your goals are and what they look like 10, 15, even 20 years down the road. This will set the path for all of the things that you've learned, and it will show you, if you apply them and set your own goals and steps, where you will be years from now. And it's a beautiful thing. It helps keep me impassioned about continuing to grow my own wealth, my own legacy for my family, is by creating kind of a vision board that shows where I want to be in 5 years and 10 years and what steps I need to do today to get there. So let's start with building one for you. The first step is to set up a savings goal. Now remember, the homeboyspodcast.com has a savings calculator that can help you with this first step, which is setting a savings goal. And this savings goal is in order to get to your first property. So if you already have, say, $25,000 in your savings, you can skip this step. But the goal with this is to set up a savings amount that you can afford, but can also get you to that first down payment on your first turnkey property. And once you start seeing those rewards of your savings start to grow, on the compounding interest starting to grow, and remember, compounding interest is your money earning money. And the money your money earns you money. Once you start to see the power of that, you might be motivated for maybe a side hustle, maybe skipping the Starbucks. And savings becomes really a reward in itself, seeing how much faster you can get to your goal. Now that you know what to put in for step 1, the amount to save each month, and the amount for number 2, which is your goal to get to that first property, that's when you buy your first property. And this is where it gets really fun. Because not only are you going to continue the savings that you set up at the beginning, now you're going to have the power of real estate also generating cash flow that you can put into the savings to get to your next property faster. So let's just, as an example, say you were saving $100 a week. Well, if you now have a cash flowing property that makes you a couple of $100 a month, you can nearly double what you were saving each week to get to your next property faster. So in step 3, you're continuing to save the amount you already had, but you're adding to it from that first property. And now that you know how much you can save between what you had been saving plus some of the cash flow from your first property, you'll be able to do the math to figure out exactly how long it's going to take to save up again for that second property. Again, you can rely on the Homeboys Podcast Savings Calculator to calculate those numbers for you and fill this in. So now you've already purchased your second property and you got there that much faster using the power of real estate, that first property to help you buy your second property. Well, now it's exponential. Now you've got 2 properties producing cash flow on top of your savings, and you will just keep doing this over and over until you reach your goal. Now there are some limits. You're only allowed 10 Fannie Mae mortgages, and there will be some other hurdles to get over at different points in your portfolio growth, but believe me, you can get over those. I can't wait for that to be a problem for you, in fact. And once you get to the third property, those properties truly can start performing on their own and creating other properties. As long as you're not using that cash flow to live, this portfolio can start to grow itself with no money from you. Literally no money out of your pocket. Once you get to 3, maybe 4 properties, there should be enough cash flow to generate enough down payment for the next property and the next property. And keep in mind, over time, these properties should be appreciating, depending what market you're in, by a significant amount. And you can always use some of the equity from these to purchase the next properties. So this is an outline, just the basic outline, so that you can see the vision and kind of a quest and a path for you to get from one property all the way to multiple. You can be really conservative with this or be really aggressive. It all depends on what your goals are, and don't be afraid to play with this. Change it. I review mine every 6 months and I make changes to it. Sometimes I'm more aggressive and sometimes the market's really hot and I say, okay, I'm going to pull back a little. I'm not going to buy anything for a little bit. Or maybe the market is down and everybody else is running for the hill. Well, that's when I'm buying. This is just a basic outline to help motivate you to stay on track and to have that vision quest. You need those guardrails to help motivate you and to have a scoreboard to keep track of what you're shooting for. Believe me, it helps you if you have it on paper, what you're trying to accomplish.